Before we start, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Only 2% are subscribed at 1,000 subscribers. I'll be posting a special video. I crush the bouquet so hard the stems snap. My name is Adam, I'm 28 and my hands shake. Water runs over my fingers and down the glass. Behind me, she yells my name and grabs my wrist. Some part of me thinks, good, let it all spill. I wish I could say it started with the vase, it didn't. It really started that morning when the flowers showed up. She opened the door laughing, then she saw the card. Her shoulders tightened for 1 second and then relaxed again. I noticed that tiny pause and felt something twist inside. She turned the envelope a little, like checking the back. I leaned closer and recognized the name from old drama. My chest did that stupid tight thing I always ignore. She caught my face and forced a bright smile, almost sharp. Not jealous, right, birthday boy, you trust me? I snorted and tried to look bored, like it was nothing. Inside, I made a quick list of normal explanations for this. Old friend move or awkward closure attempt, some random nostalgia hit. None of those felt right, but I grabbed one anyway. That was my first quiet lie of the day. She tucked the card into her pocket and lifted the bouquet. She set it right in the middle of our small table. I watched her tilt the stems until they looked picture perfect. Maybe put it on the counter instead, I muttered without thinking. She ignored the idea so hard it felt like a slap. Friends arrived later with cheap wine and loud jokes everywhere. Everyone kept saying how pretty they were, asking who sent them. She kept giving this little shrug with that tired smile. I laughed along, but each compliment landed like a little warning. The room buzzed while my focus stayed locked on that vase. At one point, I pulled her into the kitchen for refills. You sure you want those front and center all night? She opened the fridge door, using the cold air like a shield. Relax, she whispered that it was just flowers and she looked good. I nodded but stored that line word for word. By midnight, the apartment had thinned out to empty cups. She kicked off her shoes and dropped onto the couch. The bouquet still stood proud beside the half-eaten cake. I walked over and brushed one petal with my thumb. My brain whispered that it was a test and I froze. So I can toss these now, right, since tonight is over. Her head jerked up fast like I had suggested burning money. Why are you obsessed with the stupid flowers? Her voice sharpened. Because they came from a guy who used to own your heart. The second I said that, I knew I had swung low. She stood up fast and the room felt smaller, meaner. You think I'm keeping them because I still want him? I opened my mouth, then closed it and somehow still nodded. Her eyes went glossy and bright, not the good kind. She walked away from me, but the flowers kept staring. Hours later, she snored lightly in our bedroom while I paced. The clock crawled toward morning and the bouquet still stood there. Every time I looked over, I pictured him writing that card. My body moved before I decided anything and grabbed the vase. That is the moment she walked out and caught my hands. Adam, stop right now, her grip tightened around my wrist. I squeezed harder anyway and heard another stem crack under pressure. If I let go, I knew everything would slide back to normal. Normal meant pretending this bouquet was just a pretty birthday gift. So I held on and waited for something to finally break. Her fingers dig in and the vase slips from my hands. It slams the sink and sloshes water over both of us. She jerks it away like I just grabbed her instead. What is wrong with you? Her voice hits hard. I stare at my wet palms and realize I crossed something. You know that instant where you could back off and apologize? I almost do it, my throat even shapes the word. Then I look at the stupid arrangement sitting safe again. Those aren't just flowers, I manage, jaw tight. You're leaving a door open and pretending it's locked. She breathes out once, sharp, like it hurts her chest. So now I'm cheating because someone mailed me a bouquet. I laugh once, short, not funny at all. You're keeping his little reminder in our place like a trophy. Her eyes shine, but it's not the soft kind of shine. If you don't trust me, why are you even here? That line always shows up when someone wants the upper hand. I recognize it, but it still lands right in my gut. I do trust you, I answer, which sounds weak even to me. I just don't trust his motive, and you know exactly why. She leans against the counter, arms folded like armor. I'm tired, it's late, and you picked a fight over flowers. She turns away and carries the vase past my shoulder. I stand in the kitchen, dripping, weirdly sure this matters. I let her walk off anyway, which is its own choice. In the morning, the arrangement sits untouched on the table again. She hums while pouring coffee, acting like last night vanished. Big day at work, she bumps my elbow, smiling like usual. The easy tone feels rehearsed, like we're reading from old lines. I hear myself answer normally and hate how simple that is. While she scrolls her phone, the arrangement keeps pulling my attention. I try to read an email and lose the thread 3 times. Her screen lights up and she angles it slightly away. Nothing dramatic, just a tiny tilt, but my stomach reacts. Still hearing from people about your birthday, I ask lightly. Yeah, a few late messages, she taps fast, lips pressed together. A tiny grin shows up, then she bites it back. Anyone I know, I stir my coffee even though it's fine. She shrugs without looking up, just people, nothing for you. That phrase sits between us heavy, like I imagine the pause. I tell myself I am reading too much into everything. That's the trick with jealousy, it rewrites normal as suspicious. I promise myself I will chill the hell out today. By lunch, I break that promise without even trying. Her social story pops up on my phone during a break. She posted a picture of the arrangement with some cute caption. I stare at it way longer than a picture deserves. A new comment appears while I'm looking from a name I know. He drops a joke about still knowing her taste too well. She replies with laughing emojis and a little sparkle heart. My chest does that heavy drop thing like missing a step. I tap his profile out of raw curiosity and old resentment. He looks exactly how I remember, confident and too relaxed. I close the app because I feel ridiculous stalking him midday. Still, when my shift ends, the image sits there anyway. Back home, the first thing I see is that same arrangement. She's on the couch, phone in both hands, thumbs flying. Her feet twitch like she's trying not to laugh out loud. Good day, I drop my bag a little harder than normal. Busy, she answers, screen lighting her face while she smiles. I sit beside her and lean just enough to peek. I catch a glimpse of his name stacked near the top. Under it, her last line reads, "Thanks again, you always remember." My chest tightens enough that I clear my throat too loud. She locks the screen with a quick tap and sets it down. We're not doing this again, she warns, eyes on the TV. I didn't say anything yet, which makes that hit harder. Doing what, I ask, even though we both know. You hovering over my shoulder, waiting for proof I'm terrible. The word terrible stings because that's not what I want. If nothing weird is happening, why hide the screen like that? I keep my tone as calm as possible, which costs effort. She laughs once, sharp, no humor, just edge. Because you stare like you're cross-examining me on the stand. She pulls her legs up, creating a clear line between us. I almost bring up the comment and the heart emoji. I stop because I would sound like some obsessed detective. Are you talking to him a lot now? I ask instead. Off and on, she answers, shrugging like it's a weather report. He reached out after the birthday, it's not a crime. That phrase lands wrong, reached out. It sounds soft and innocent, but my brain flags it. What does he want? I push, fingers laced too tight. Closure, friendship, whatever, she waves it off like smoke. He lives his life, I live mine, end of story. Except it doesn't feel like end of story at all. It feels like first act, like the part I will replay later. I try again, slower, because I know my temper is loud. I don't like him being inside your daily life like this. She stares, then laughs quietly like I told a bad joke. Inside my daily life, she shakes her head at the phrasing. He's in my notifications, not in our bed, relax. That line slices right through whatever calm I had constructed. There's still a line, I answer, voice lower than before. And you're standing on it, checking your balance. Her mouth opens, then closes like she might fire back. Instead, she reaches for the arrangement and fixes one leaning stem. The casual touch on that thing feels louder than any insult. I am not getting rid of these because you're insecure. The last word hangs in the air, ugly, daring me. I know I should walk away, take a breath, count something. Instead, I pick up my phone and open our text thread. I type out a messy paragraph about respect and boundaries. Then I delete all of it, watching the letters vanish. If I send it, she will screenshot it to someone later. That thought shocks me because I never used to think like that. I never pictured our messages displayed to some outside audience. Do you still have feelings for him? The question slips out. She spins toward me, eyes wide, like I crossed a sacred rule. Wow, she whispers, you really believe I'm that person. I don't answer quickly enough, which is its own answer. She gets up, grabs her charger, and walks down the hall. I stay on the couch, staring at the spot she left.
No.
Arrangement blocks the hallway from where I sit. It looks less like a gift now, more like a signal. Later that night, I hear her laughing through the bathroom door. Not the laugh she uses with me, something lighter, younger. My chest clenches because I already know who is on the screen. I hover outside for 3 seconds, hand lifted, ready to knock. Instead, I turn away because I am tired of being insecure. Back in the living room, her phone buzzes on the table. She must have left it while charging in the bedroom. It lights up again, vibrating a little closer to the edge. A preview flashes just long enough for me to read it. We really need to talk properly, I miss you from him. The preview flashes again and my hand moves on its own. I flip her phone screen up and stare at that line. We really need to talk properly, I miss you. My thumb hovers over the lock button and trembles. If I swipe now, there is no going back. I hear the bathroom fan shut off down the hall. Water hits the sink and she laughs at something. I set the phone exactly where it was before. Then I step away like it's hot metal. My heart still beats like I actually touched fire. She walks out wrapped in a towel, humming softly. Everything okay out here? Her eyes skim the room once. Yeah, the word comes out tight and way too fast. She studies my face for a second longer than usual. Try to sleep early tonight, tomorrow will be busy. That line sounds normal but hits me strange. Early sleep for her means more time alone for me. More hours with my head in that preview replaying. I mutter something about being tired and grab a glass. She disappears into the bedroom and closes the door. I sit on the couch with the TV on mute. Our place feels tiny and loud even without any sound. Her phone buzzes once, then again, then again. Each vibration gives a small jump across the tabletop. I glance down and see his name over and over. Nothing unlocks, just a stack of alerts growing slowly. I watch them arrive like a drip I cannot stop. My mind does the worst thing possible. It starts filling in the messages I cannot read yet. Every guess feels worse than the last one. I tell myself that spying will not fix anything meaningful. That grown adults talk instead of rifling through phones. I also know I already crossed a line in my head. The next step is just matching the thoughts with action. That realization sits heavier than any rule about privacy. Eventually, I force myself to plug her phone into the wall. For a second, I consider putting it face down instead. I leave it upright because hiding it feels even worse. Then I kill the TV and head to the bedroom. I promise myself I will not touch that thing again. She is already in bed scrolling through something in the dark. The screen lights her face and gives away nothing. I climb under the blanket, stiff, measuring the distance between us. She turns slightly toward me but keeps her eyes on the glow. Good night, she whispers like everything is fine. I lie there with my eyes open and count her breaths. After a while, the tapping stops and the light clicks off. The room goes quiet in that heavy way before sleep. Her breathing deepens, even that rhythm I know by heart. I wait another 10 minutes just to be sure. You know that moment where you feel yourself split. One part wants to protect whatever trust is left. The other part wants the truth, even if it stings. I roll out of bed slowly, careful not to shake anything. My feet touch the floor and it feels like a decision. Back in the living room, her phone waits by the outlet. No new alerts now, just the black screen facing up. My pulse jumps like it knows what's about to happen. I pick it up and my thumb slides to the unlock spot. The screen opens right into her messages without resistance. Her conversation list glows, names in a neat column. His sits near the top, not first but close. That detail hits me harder than I expected, honestly. Not pinned, not hidden, just comfortably there among everyone. I tap it before I can talk myself out of it. The thread scrolls back further than I thought it would. Weeks of blue and gray bubbles stacked in a long chain. I feel like I walked into a room mid-argument. I start near the top where the birthday chatter begins. He wrote first, asking if she still likes surprises. Her answer is a long string of laughing and playful lines. She sends him an updated address without even pausing. Right there, no hesitation, no joke, just the information. My throat goes dry while I stare at that single text. I remember her telling me the package just showed up. I swipe further and see her complaining about me. Not about something small either, about who I apparently am. She tells him I lost my spark and turned safe. She writes that I used to feel different, then settled. Each sentence is a little cut I did not see coming. He leans right into it, of course he does. He calls me predictable and says I never understood her. He reminds her of late nights they had and shared jokes. He hints that I am just the quiet replacement after chaos. Reading it, I almost start agreeing with him, which is insane. She types back that I am stable, that I show up. For a second I feel weird pride, then I see the rest. I feel like I'm with my older cousin sometimes, she writes. Nice, but not the person I dreamed about. That one line sits in my stomach like a rock. Newer messages drift closer to that day with the delivery. He asks if I reacted, adds a winking emoji. She tells him I was controlling about the flowers. She says I'm paranoid and looking for problems. He answers that deep down I know who she should be with. I scroll faster once I hit the last 20 lines. It moves from teasing into something softer, more dangerous. He tells her he regrets letting her walk away. He says he has dated other people and none felt right. He ends one message with, "It was always you, still is." Her replies slow down for a while before the birthday. You can see her trying not to engage and still responding. Then she cracks on the night of the party. Seeing the flowers messed me up, she writes. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. The recent part is the worst, obviously. It starts after our first fight about the vase. She texts him that I tried to get rid of it. She calls me intense, anxious, pushes the whole thing onto me. He answers that I am scared because I feel him getting closer. I almost stop there, I really almost close it. Then I notice one more chunk I haven't read yet. From earlier that evening, right before the bathroom laughing. He asks if she ever thinks about choosing different again. She answers, more lately than I want to admit. My ears ring so loud that I read it twice. The timestamp is less than an hour old. I picture her on the couch, typing that while I sat nearby. I imagine my face in front of the TV, clueless. That image actually hurts more than the sentence itself. I put the phone down, then pick it up again. Part of me wants to screenshot everything for future defense. Another part is disgusted that I am even considering that. In the end, I do nothing but scroll back up once. I want the words burned into my memory for tomorrow. Walking back to the bedroom feels like walking into a stranger's space. She is tangled in the blanket, breathing steady, completely unaware. I slide under the cover and lie flat on my back. The room feels too small for both of our truths now. In the dark, I whisper just to myself, okay. Now writing this, I know I crossed my own line. I am not proud of unlocking her screen and reading everything. If someone did that to me, I'd call it a violation. But if I had not looked, I would still doubt myself. Instead of what I saw, I would blame my instincts. I turn onto my side and listen for any hint of wakefulness. She shifts once, half asleep, and murmurs something unclear. My whole body tenses, waiting to hear his name come out. It doesn't, that somehow makes it worse, not better. Secrets sound louder when they stay silent like that. By the time morning starts creeping in, my choice is made. Not the breakup, not yet, just the next step. I know I am going to bring those messages into daylight. I know she will focus on the snooping, not the content. And I know once that conversation starts, nothing goes back. I slide her phone across the table toward her. The conversation with him is open on the screen. Her fork stops halfway to her mouth and stays there. For 1 second, we just breathe at each other. Explain this, I say, and my voice actually shakes. She lowers the fork without looking away from me. Then she glances down and sees the thread with his name. Color drains from her face like someone pulled a plug. You went through my messages, she whispers, fingers curling. There it is, the part I knew would hit first. Yeah, I answer because lying now would be ridiculous. I saw the notifications last night and I checked. She pushes the chair back so hard it scrapes the floor. You had no right to do that, her jaw tenses. You invaded my space over some stupid insecurity. I want to argue with the word insecurity and choke. Not going to lie, this is the part I hate. I'm not proud of it, I tell her, palms open. But I read it and now I know everything. The word everything hangs there, ugly but true. She grabs the phone like she might snatch it away. Instead, she keeps it on the table between us. Then you know it's not what you're making up. Her eyes are glassy, furious, stubborn all at once. You saw how he chases, I shut him down. I almost laugh when she uses that phrase. Shut him down, the thread in my head glitches. Did you forget the part where you miss him? I lean forward and tap a random point on screen. The part where you said you might choose. Different. Her pupils flick to that exact line in the chat. I can tell she knows exactly which words I mean. She presses her lips together and says nothing. Silence can be an answer, and this one burns. I feel my ribs tighten like someone strapped them. He is in love with you, I go on slowly. You tell him you feel pulled toward him again. I force myself not to shout, which takes everything. And then you sleep next to me like nothing changed. Even saying it out loud makes me feel stupid. She drops into the chair again like her knees give out. You're twisting it, she mutters, rubbing her forehead. I told him I was confused, not that I was leaving. Her thumb strokes the phone like it's something fragile. I just needed someone who knew me before all this. That line hits me in a way I did not expect. Before all this, in her head I am the after. So I'm the safe choice while he gets your honesty. I lean back and stare at the untouched food between us. Do you realize how insane that looks from here? I didn't want to hurt you, she blurts, voice cracking. That's why I didn't bring it up with you first. I let out a dry laugh that surprises both of us. You didn't want to hurt me, so you vented to him. It sounds worse out loud than it did in my brain. She reaches across the table like she might take my hand. I keep mine flat on my knees, fingers locked tight. I was trying to figure out what I actually wanted. Her throat moves as she swallows hard. I didn't plan on you ever seeing any of it. And there it is, the honest piece inside the mess. You weren't confused about me reading it, I answer. You were comfortable talking behind my back because it felt safe. I feel my voice drop lower than I thought it could. You were just hoping I stayed in the dark forever. She flinches like I swung. I have a right to talk to people when I'm upset. Sure, I nod because technically that's true on paper. Just wild how the person you picked was an old boyfriend. That last word tastes sour when it leaves my mouth. You went through my phone, she fires back, voice rising. You don't get to climb on some moral hill after that. I open my mouth and shut it because she's not wrong. If I attack only the privacy part, I lose. If I ignore it, she'll never hear the rest. Yes, I say, finally, steadier. I invaded your phone, that was wrong on its own. Her shoulders loosen for half a second at that admission. And what I found still matters, no matter how I found it. I hold her stare because looking away feels like surrender. She pushes the plate aside like the table is suddenly too small. So what now, she asks, voice small but still defensive. You dumped me because I answered a few messages. I shake my head slowly because it is not that simple. If it was a few, we wouldn't be at this point. She unlocks the phone and scrolls through the chat quickly. Her finger flies over the screen as she scans. Then she turns it toward me like she's presenting evidence. I never agreed to meet him, she points at the bubbles. He keeps pushing, I kept the boundary. I glance at the lines, but I'm not fooled that easy. No meeting yet, I correct her, emphasizing the last word. But you did tell him you think about going back sometimes. I tap the phrase I remember, that awful confession. That isn't nothing, you handed him hope with that. She slams the phone down and winces at the impact. Because I didn't know what I wanted, she repeats louder. Because you and I have felt off and I freaked out. Her breathing picks up, shallow, uneven, way too fast. I didn't actually do anything with him. Not yet, I answer and immediately feel mean saying it. She recoils like I spit at her. So you think it's just a countdown till I cheat? The word cheat lands between us like a dropped weight. Is that really how low you think of me? I rub my face hard, trying to slow my thoughts. Honestly, I do not think she is evil or scheming. I think she is selfish and scared and chasing a feeling. Right now, I think you're keeping two options open deliberately. The second I say it, her expression hardens like stone. That's not fair, she murmurs, shaking her head slowly. I chose you, I live with you, he's just on a screen. I look over at the wilted gift on the table. He's also in our home through that thing, I nod at it. And you know that's why I'm losing my mind. We stare at the stems, both avoiding each other's faces. This is about control for you, she says quietly. You want me to delete every person who ever mattered before you. The rewrite is impressive, I will give her that. I feel my jaw clench as I pick my next move. This is about respect for reality, I answer, pulse thudding. One of those people is still telling you he's in love. I lean forward, elbows on my thighs, voice low. And you're telling him you're torn while sleeping in my bed. Even I can hear how tired I sound now. She goes still, like the word torn pinned her to the chair. You memorize my texts, she says slowly, almost shocked. I read them once, I reply, which is technically true. They hit hard enough that I don't need a replay. I swallow because my mouth is suddenly dry. For a few seconds, neither of us moves or talks. The clock on the wall ticks way too loud in my head. Her eyes shine, not from anger this time, but something else. I didn't want to break us, she finally whispers. But I also didn't want to lie about how confused I feel. And here comes the part where old me would fold. The part where I comfort her while bleeding out inside. I feel that instinct rise and I literally grip the chair. I can't compete with a fantasy version of him, I tell her. I won't sit here while you decide if I'm enough. She blinks, stunned, like she expected another quiet apology. So what are you saying? Her voice cracks around the words. That I can't talk to anyone about my feelings ever. I shake my head again, slower this time. I'm saying you can't keep him as emotional backup while with me. The room feels brutally small now. I hear my own heartbeat louder than anything. I need you to end this with him completely, I continue. No more messages, no posts, no cute reactions on his jokes. My hands tremble, but my words come out steady. She stares like I'm speaking another language. You want me to erase him to prove something to you. I almost bite back my next sentence, then let it through. I want you to choose us without a safety net, I say. If you can't do that, then we're done here. There it is, the ultimatum I never thought I'd give anyone. She leans back like a gust of wind hit her chest. Do you hear how controlling that sounds? She whispers. You are literally telling me who I can speak to. Her fingers tap the edge of the table in a jittery rhythm. I am telling you I'm not sharing my relationship, I answer. Talk to friends, family, a therapist, whoever you need. I gesture at the phone, then at the sad birthday gift. Just not the guy who wants you back and knows your weak spots. The room seems to hold its breath while she processes that. She grips the phone, thumb hovering over his name. For a second, I think she might actually block him. Her eyes flick up to mine, wet and furious and scared. If I do this because you're forcing me, you'll resent me, she says. If I don't, you'll leave. Those are my two choices. Those are the choices you created, I answer, which sounds harsher. I stand because sitting any longer makes me feel trapped. I didn't text him, I didn't ask for this mess. My legs feel weak, but I stay upright, fingers digging into my pockets. I just reacted to the mess you brought into our home. She rises too, moving faster now, almost pacing. You'd really walk away over messages and a stupid birthday surprise. Her voice goes higher on the last word, almost breaking. I look at her, really look, and the answer is obvious. If they were nothing, you wouldn't be fighting this hard. For the first time since this started, she shuts up. Her eyes flick to the phone again, then to the withering gift. Finally, she unlocks the screen and opens the conversation. I step closer without meaning to, watching her thumb scroll. She hovers over the block option while her hand shakes. Seconds pass, she doesn't press it. Instead, she locks the screen and places the phone down carefully. I can't do this right now, she mutters, backing away. I need time to think without you breathing down my neck. My stomach drops because that is its own answer. Then I'm not staying here tonight, I hear myself say. The words come out quieter than I expected, but final. Her head snaps up like she did not see that coming. You're overreacting, she insists, reaching toward me. I step back before she can touch my arm. I'm not slamming doors or throwing anything, I tell her. I'm not calling you names or posting screenshots anywhere. I walk to the hook by the entry and grab my keys. My hands move automatically toward the small bag on the chair. I just refuse to sit here while you decide if I matter. She follows me halfway, bare feet slapping the floor. So you're just walking out after an argument, she says. No, I correct her, meeting her stare one more time. I'm walking out after you chose indecision over us. That finally pulls a sound from her, more hurt than angry. I open the door and pause with my hand on the knob. For a second, I want her to call my bluff. To grab the phone, block him, toss the wilted gift, anything. Instead, she stands there with her arms wrapped around herself. Behind her, the birthday stems sit untouched between us. I drop the grocery bouquet straight into the trash. Plastic crinkles, stems bend, and water splashes my wrist. For a second, I just watch it sink among LD takeout. Yeah, I mutter to the empty room, solid purchase, man. I fished those flowers out of a discount bucket earlier. Something in me wanted to replay that first delivery differently. New place, new bunch, my rules this time. Now they just look like a joke I told myself. My phone buzzes on the counter, screen lighting the small kitchen. Unknown number at first glance, then the name clicks. A mutual friend I haven't spoken to since everything blew up. Message, can you talk? It's about her. My stomach tightens before I even hit call. He answers quick, breathless, like he's wanted this chat. Hey man, sorry to dump this on you. That phrase already tells me it's not good news. I pace between the sink and the mattress on the floor. Just say it, I cut in, fingers pressed to my forehead. She and Liam are together now, he finally gets out. The word together drags through the speaker like mud. They started seeing each other right after you moved out. My chest goes hot and cold at the same time. Part of me knew that would happen, but hearing it still stings. I lean against the counter and press my eyes shut. Okay, I say, because I don't trust any other word. On the other end, he fills the silence with details. They've been posting out, arguing in front of people, then making up. It sounds like a rerun of a show she swore she hated. She keeps saying you overreacted, he adds quietly. That you walked away instead of working on it. That one lands harder than the part about them dating. So in her version, I'm the storm, not the one dodging it. I bite down before something bitter slips out. Why are you telling me this? I ask eventually. He hesitates long enough that I know the answer already. Because she isn't okay, man, he finally says. Because I was there when you actually cared about her. He exhales, and because she asked if you'd ever talk. That last bit stops my pacing dead. She asked that and my voice comes out rough. Yeah, she said she messed up handling everything with you. He lowers his tone like she's in the next room. She said it didn't feel real losing you until you were gone. Old me would have jumped at that line, not going to lie. The part of me that still remembers her laugh wakes up. Memories can be extremely dishonest when you're lonely. I drag a hand over my face and look at the trash can. Those stupid store flowers peek out like they're waiting. What does she actually want from me? I press. Another pause, longer this time, like he's choosing each word. She wants to meet up just to talk. He rushes the rest out, closure, apology, something like that. I laugh once short because that word never ends clean. Tell her I'm glad she's honest with someone now, I answer. Tell her I'm not available for post-game reviews. Silence stretches on the line like he expected a different answer. You sure? He asks, voice careful. Yeah, I say, and this time it comes out calm. After we hang up, the room feels even smaller. I sit on the mattress and stare at the ceiling. I don't cry or punch anything or blast music. I just lie there and let the picture form. Her choosing him the second the door closed behind me. I won't pretend it doesn't mess with my ego. There is a petty part that wanted her miserable without me. Not forever, but at least long enough to prove a point. Instead, she slid straight into something familiar and chaotic. And I'm here arguing with a trash can bouquet. Days pass in a weird slow sprint after that call. I work, I eat whatever, I sleep badly. I don't check her socials, even though it's ridiculously easy. My friend does it for me by accident anyway. He texts random updates I never asked for. Not going well over there, one message reads, late Friday. Big fight in the parking lot outside a bar. Next day, they're back together already, of course. It sounds exactly like the stories she used to tell me. Only now I'm not the one sitting next to her listening. At some point, curiosity wins and I open his profile. There they are in a new post, arms around each other. Her smile looks wide, but her eyes give something away. You can tell when someone is performing for the camera. I stare too long and then slam the app closed. That night, she breaks the wall herself. A notification slides down from an unknown number. It takes me a second to recognize how she formats her texts. Hey, I know I'm the last person you want to hear from. My pulse kicks hard against my ribs. More bubbles appear before I answer. I'm not texting to defend anything or blame you. I just wanted you to know I get it now. She types in bursts like she's afraid she'll stop. You were right about him and about me. I walk circles around the mattress with the phone in my hand. A dozen replies form in my head all at once. Yeah, no kidding, or too late, or how bad is it? Instead, I just watch the screen flash with another paragraph. I miss how simple we were before I complicated everything. Simple, that word almost makes me laugh. Nothing about that last month felt simple on my side. I thumb out 3 words, what happened exactly. I erase them because I already know enough. If I invite specifics, I invite the whole triangle back. Another block of text lands, longer than the others. I thought going back would clear my head and answer everything. It did the opposite, it just showed me how much I took you for granted. He does still love me, but only the version in his memory. I kept thinking about you reading those messages and walking out. I sit on the floor this time, back against the wall. My chest tightens in a different way than before. Not jealousy, not anger, something closer to tired empathy. I remember holding her wrist while crushing that first bouquet. I remember how sure I felt and how ugly I looked. She keeps going, like a confession she rehearsed alone. You didn't deserve how I talked about you to him. You didn't deserve to wonder if you were crazy for feeling disrespected. You weren't crazy, I was selfish and scared and wanted options. I am really, truly sorry for all of it. If I'm honest, part of me needed to read that. Not for her, for me, to know I wasn't imagining everything. For weeks I carried this fear that I overdiagnosed things. That I blew up something fixable because of my own issues. Her spelling it out hits like a weight sliding off. She finishes with one last line. I'm not asking to get back together, I know I burned that. I just wanted you to hear me take responsibility once. If you ever wanted to talk in person, I'd show up and listen. If not, I still hope you find someone who doesn't treat you like a backup plan. I stare at those sentences for a long time. Backup plan, hearing her use my own thought process hurts and helps. I think about that night with her phone in my hands. About the way I hid in the dark reading about myself. About how easy it would be to start that cycle again. My thumbs hover over the keyboard until they ache. I write out I appreciate the apology, then stop. I add I cared about you a lot, I still do, then stop again. Everything I type opens a door I am not ready for. In the end, I delete the whole thing and start fresh. Thank you for saying that is what I finally send. You were important to me, but I can't do this again. I hope you figure out what you need without hurting yourself more. I stare at the last line, then add one more. And without using anyone else as a mirror. 3 dots appear, blink, then vanish. A minute passes, then another with nothing. I picture her reading my message next to someone else. Maybe in his car, maybe in the place we used to share. Whatever she types next, I already know my role here is finished. When her answer comes, it's short. I get it, for what it's worth, you were the good one. That label makes me wince more than the earlier insults. I don't feel like the good one in this story. I feel like the guy who broke himself spying and then finally left. I block her number after that, quietly, no dramatic flourish. Not out of hatred, out of self-preservation. If I leave the line open, I know myself too well. Every lonely night will become an excuse to check in. I am done being an optional setting in her life. My friend calls a week later to update me again. I cut him off gently this time. Man, I don't need play-by-play anymore, I tell him. I heard what I needed from the source. He goes quiet, then says he understands and will drop it. After we hang up, I stand over the trash can again. The store bouquet is still there, now actually rotten. I grab the whole mess of soggy stems and haul it out. For half a second I consider keeping one piece as a joke. Instead I toss everything, bag and all, into the outside bin. Walking back upstairs, my hands feel weirdly light. The apartment is still bare, still temporary, still echoey. Nothing magical changed because I sent one firm text. I still miss her sometimes and I still feel angry sometimes. But for the first time, neither feeling makes me reach for my phone.